Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to week 10 of the Cool Down Catch Up, a weekly catch up of what went down last week in training. Before I get to that, I just wanted to take this intro to kind of explain to you guys what resources I use and how I scout and plan my runs. I use a variety of online resources, such as Trail Run Project, All Trails, and even Strava. These are all great resources to find some of those hidden gems and trails that I've yet to explore. It's awesome because these resources display such things as the mileage, the elevation gain, and even the difficulty of the trail. I like to use these resources to get an idea of where these trails are at to start exploring. Once I find a trail I want to run or some mountains I want to climb, I always jump into either Google Earth or FatMap and start scouring around to really understand the terrain that I'm going to be in. I also use this website called On The Go Map, where I can click and build my planned route. This is a great way to combine different trails and zones. It's great because as you build the route, you can see your mileage, elevation, and profile. I use this resource all the time when I'm planning road runs, trail runs, and even trying to find out some of these random dirt road runs I go on around here. I hope this was helpful for you, for those who want to go and try to explore and find new trails in their area. I would also be interested to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you use for resources in finding trails, not only to run, but also hike? I'm always looking for new resources. All right, and now let's get to the catch up. This week was a built-in cutback week, which was very welcomed. So let's get 2 minutes on the clock, and the cool down catch up starts right now.
All right, Monday, just got 4 miles on the docket today. The dogs had a vet appointment, so I'm treating them for having to get poked and prodded. We're up on South Table, but it is an absolute sloshy mess, and they're not being very good runner companions today.
I thought that up top it would at least be melted somewhat, or at least trotted down, but I was completely wrong. Every single step was trotting through inches of wet snow, mud, and water.
10 out of 10, would not recommend. It is awful.
It was honestly one of the worst running conditions I've ever experienced. Even the dogs were not having a good time and completely muddy. Tuesday, I had 6 miles planned, and with it being a cutback week, I really wanted to approach this run as a heart rate run and try to stay within my zone 2. I average a pretty decent pace for myself, and it's really cool to see how that pace has only been getting faster in the last year and a half of running when I do these type of styled heart rate runs. The pace is getting faster and the heart rate is getting lower. Wednesday was my one long run I had scheduled this week. I decided to go check out Little Bear Creek Road, which is a dirt road that runs from Idaho Springs all the way up to Squaw Pass.
Wednesday, back on the hunt for maintained roads, and this is perfect. So, got 14 miles on the docket today. So, once again, uphill one way, downhill the back. But it's nice to find some roads that are snow-free. Trails are kind of a mess right now.
The road did have a lot more residential traffic than my go-to Virginia Canyon Road, which I could actually see across the mountain valley, along with the snow-capped peaks that run along the Continental Divide. Overall, the road was in really great condition. It did get a little bit muddy as the day warmed up, but it was very manageable.
It's just about 6 3/4 miles uphill, 2,000 feet, heading back down. Feeling tired today. This is day 5 in a row. I think after this run, I'll be at 54 miles in 5 days. So it's starting to build up on me, but I do have like 3 rest days built in a row. So I am very much looking forward to that.
I ended up with 14 miles and 2,300 feet of gain, and this is yet another road I will be adding to my mix. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday I worked, and I took some very needed rest days. Sunday, I opted for some Dread Hill. I had 6 miles planned, but I wanted to get some elevation. So I set the treadmill to 5% grade and ran at a 10-minute pace for 3/4 of each mile. In the last quarter of every mile, I would bump it up to 15% grade and run at a 12-minute pace. This was a really good workout, and it really kicked my butt. I was able to get 2,200 feet on the treadmill in the 6 miles. And that was my week. As I mentioned earlier, this was a cutback week that I had built in, and it was very much needed. After the 5 days and 54 miles, including the end of last week, I really needed to rest the legs for a few days. My hip flexors and the ankle I rolled a few weeks ago have been pretty sore, but I do have some body work scheduled for this week which have worked wonders in the past. In total, with this cutback week, I ran 30 miles, 4 hours and 58 minutes, and 5,235 feet of gain, hitting all of my scheduled runs. It was a really good cutback week, and it was really nice to have 3 consecutive days of rest to help the body recover before I start ramping up the next few weeks, which are pretty large. So I really hope that the body can hold itself together and I can make it through these next few weeks of building. As always, once again, thank you so much for watching these videos. I really do appreciate anyone who takes the time. It's a lot of work to put them together, and I really do appreciate every view and like and comment I get. I did want to start adding a little segment at the beginning of each of these, such as I did today on how I plan my routes. If there's anything you guys would like to see in regards to my training or even just something about myself, I'd love to start adding those to the beginning of these episodes to make it a little bit different each time. If you guys have any ideas or something you'd like to see at the beginning of these episodes, please leave a comment and let me know. I'd love to start highlighting those. And as always, the classic YouTube pitch, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, slap that thumbs up, and as always, remember, adventure awaits.